Okay, at 5:01, we start with developing news. Congress now one step closer to approving the president's request to authorize a military strike on Syria. The Senate Foreign Relations Committee approved a revised authorization for military force yesterday. If the full Senate approves it, this could happen as soon as next week, or it could vote on it then. The president would have 60 days to carry out any attacks. He could then ask for one 30-day extension. The resolution specifically forbids putting troops on the ground there. And New Mexico Senator Tom Udall, whose heated exchange with Secretary of State John Kerry, another Democrat, about a proposed strike in Syria, made national news on Tuesday, voted against this resolution yesterday.
I'm voting no because this policy moves the United States towards greater involvement in the Syrian civil war and an increasing regional conflict. This is a very complicated.
Senator Udall is worried about military involvement, that it could put the U.S. into a conflict with no clear end in sight. And it leaves America, it could leave it on shaky ground with international allies. Now, it is unclear how Senator Martin Heinrich will vote, but he says he welcomes the resolution in the full Senate, again, possibly as soon as next week, because it limits the scope of U.S. involvement and prevents the use of U.S. troops on the ground. Well, Albuquerque police say a man called City Hall yesterday afternoon saying, and I quote, "The mayor should be blown up." The bomb squad was dispatched, searched the mayor's office quite quickly, did not find anything suspicious. Police found the man who made the call. They say he was having a mental illness episode and was rushed to UNM Hospital for an evaluation. And incumbent Mayor R.J. Berry will not be participating in a candidate forum today because he says Albuquerque's public safety unions don't like him. But the two guys who want the mayor's job are set to be at this public safety forum this afternoon. It all starts at 1 o'clock. It's at the Carpenters Union Training Center. That's at 3900 Pan American Freeway Northeast, right off of I-25. The forum is expected to last about an hour and 15 minutes. The facility can only hold about 200 people, so seating is limited to that. These are, after all, public safety officials. Pete Dinelli and Paul Hay, the two other candidates besides Mayor R.J. Berry, will be answering questions from the public and rank and file of the firefighters and police unions. Well, it is getting tougher to hang on to hope that a missing veteran firefighter is going to come out of this okay. We certainly hope so. Hoping for a miracle here. Now, despite the addition of highly specialized crews who searched in the air and on the ground, Forest Service firefighter Token Adams is still missing up in the Jemez Mountains. More canine units were brought in yesterday to look for this veteran firefighter who vanished last Friday while checking out a small fire. He went out on an ATV. Now, people who know Token are baffled because he is highly trained and he knows this rugged area pretty well.
These situations are always difficult because it's the unknown, and people will say, well, how could this happen? You know, how could someone who knows the forest become lost? But maybe he didn't become lost. Maybe, you know, there was an accident. I mean, again, it's the great unknown.
It certainly is. It is some rough terrain up there. A lot of ridges and a lot of cliffs. Now, other hotshot crews, some of the toughest firefighters in the U.S., have been requested to help, but many of them are tied up working on fires in other states in the West. A couple of things about Token Adams. He left with extra food and water with him. He also trained as a Navy SEAL and is a Navy veteran, so he knows survival skills quite well. We will keep following this and hope one day to have good news with it. All right, 5:04 now. Folks in Albuquerque packed a meeting last night on the city's Bosque redevelopment plan. A lot of people are voicing opposition to this, but Parks and Rec says there is a misconception about what the city is trying to do with the Bosque. News 13's David Romero is in the Newsplex with more on that meeting. David, I hear it was packed.
That it was, Matt. Now, the Albuquerque City Council has almost $3 million earmarked for a program called Rio Grande Vision. Now, during last night's meeting, the city presented concept plans on how they want to use the money. Now, the city's gotten complaints and comments, and staff has already made changes based on the feedback that the city's received. Now, that's, for example, large tower structures drew a lot of complaints from people, so they've been removed from the plan. Among the features still included are boardwalks, bathrooms, and even provisions for kayaking and boat ramps. Now, there are also open space improvements like better parking, trails that are ADA accessible, and informative educational signs. Still, a lot of people don't want any development on the riverside woodlands. Now, they say leave the Bosque the way it is. Parks and Rec says the improvements from the Central Avenue Bridge north to I-40 will help more people enjoy the Bosque's natural beauty.
We've been managing the Bosque for 30 years, and we have an opportunity here for a little bit of money to go to improving that recreational experience.
It's wildlife. Why mess with wildlife? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, a 10-foot walkway from here to I-40, it doesn't make any sense. You're going to scare away the wildlife.
Now, whenever the Bosque plan is finalized, its expected construction could begin in fall or winter of 2014. And the folks at Parks and Rec say they plan on monitoring the environment prior to, during, and after the construction. Matt, back to you.
Okay, thank you for that heads up, David. Now, if you've got something to say but you missed last night's meeting, don't worry. There is another one coming up. It is set for Wednesday, September 18th from 6 to 8 in the evening. It's about 2 weeks away. It's just like the last one. It's at the Albuquerque Museum on Mountain Road, just east of Rio Grande Boulevard. Well, another hot topic in Albuquerque, City Council President Dan Lewis wants to hold a mail-in election on a possible late-term abortion ban. Anti-abortion groups collected enough signatures to put the ban to a vote. City Clerk Amy Bailey did not certify those signatures in time, though, to get the issue on the October ballot. But according to city charter, an election on this has to be held by November 25th. So Councilor Lewis will ask the City Council to hold it on November 19th, again, possibly through a mail-in ballot. If there is a mayoral runoff election, it would also likely be that day. The other thing, if we have to go to the polls to vote on this, the city says it could cost $600,000. Now in Santa Fe, most of the Genevieve Chavez Community Center has reopened from its annual closure for maintenance. The swimming pools, the weight room, fitness, a track, and ice arena are back in business. However, the gym, that's still closed for a little while longer because of repairs from humidity issues. So if you use the community center that's on Rodeo Road, expect the gym to be closed through September 24th. It will reopen on Wednesday, the 25th.